Okay, this is part 2 of the video showing how I create interactive video notes. This is the page we've already created on domain and range, and I have a second page on the same topic. So I'm just going to add another blank slide here. I'm going to go ahead and put my notebook in again, and actually if I want to, I can go back to my old slide and I can select that notebook and put it in again. So I'll just copy it, paste it, and put that triangle behind, or excuse me, that rectangle behind it again, so that the graph paper is a little easier to see. And I want to send that rectangle to the back so that the graph paper shows through. All right, so that's the same as the last page. All right, my topic is still on domain and range, so I'm going to just copy my little title there. So you can copy that by doing Control-C and pasting it on my next page. Just makes it look the same. And I am also going to be putting a video link, so I can use my same link again, my same little rectangle there. The link isn't active yet. I haven't linked a video yet, but I can just copy that rectangle and have that look exactly the same. All right. So for this page, I'm going to be putting a table that shows kind of a way to remember domain and range. And so I'm going to go down here. I'm going to insert a table, and I need it to be 6 across. And I'm going to start with a 6x2. Tables are really easy to manipulate in Google Slides. It's really nice. I think they're really easy to work with. So I'm selecting everything because I want to make the border thicker. And I'm also going to fill in with white to start. I'm actually going to end up changing the color here on part of this, but I'm going to start with just making everything white. Okay, so these first 3, I'm going to actually make one color because these represent the domain. So I'm making them all the same color, kind of as a visual for my students to know that those are all the same. And then the other 3, I'm going to make those all the same color because those 3 are going to represent the range. And if you're familiar with teaching this topic, then you probably already know what I'm going to write here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make my text all the same. So I'm selecting that entire top row so that I can change the text of them all at the same time. So I want them all to match, which is a lot easier to do if you do it this way. I'm just centering my text in those boxes, and now I'm going to put in, this is a way to remember that the domain, what domain represents and what range represents. So the video is going to talk about this, and so I am not going to type in domain input X coordinate, range output Y coordinate. I'm not going to type that in. Instead, I'm going to have that be an interactive feature for my students. Make that bold and maybe a little bit bigger. All right, I like how that looks. So in these boxes down below, I'm going to actually prompt them to type in what those letters represent. So I need to give them a prompt to do that. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to insert a shape, and I'm going to insert this little arrow. I think it kind of looks like a sticky note, one of those sticky note flags. And I'm going to draw that over here. And I'm going to put a little kind of like directions, essentially. That what I want them to do is fill in the blanks based on the information presented in the video. All right, perfect. So they can see those directions there. And you can play around with where you decide to put that little flag, but I'm just going to leave it like that, I think, for now. And if I need to adjust it, I can a little bit later. For now, I'm going to leave it like that. I'm not going to give them typing boxes just yet because remember, I'm going to save this entire thing as a background image. So I don't want to do anything that they have to interact with. I don't want to put anything like that on here yet. It would just be a waste of time, essentially. So I'll come back and put those typing boxes in after I save the background. All right, so the other thing I want to put down here underneath, I'm going to add one more row. So insert row below. And that's where I'm going to put a definition. So I'm going to merge these 3 cells together. So I'm going to go to arrange, format, where is it? Oh, here we go. So I right click and I get merge cells. And then I'm going to type my definition of domain, set of all inputs for x coordinates or a relation. And then same thing over here. I'm going to merge those. I know there's a way to merge them over here. Let's see if I can find it. I don't know. So right click, merge cells, and I'm going to actually copy that definition because it's really similar, but I'm going to change it to the set of all outputs or y coordinates. So I didn't have to type all of that again for a relation. And I think I'm going to center those. I think I like how that looks better when it's centered in the box. All right, so now I'm going to, underneath, I'm going to create kind of like a sort for them, a graph sort. So I'm going to insert another table. And this is going to ask them to sort graphs into 2 categories. And the 2 categories are discrete and continuous. Part of this video they're going to watch is also going to talk about discrete and continuous graphs. So I'm just making my border a little bit more bold. And then I am going to drag this down to take up most of the space. I don't need, yeah, this is just going to be definition, a label here. So I'm going to center that. I'm going to make it a bigger font. Get the font how you want it. This is going to be our continuous data. And our discrete data. And I think I might fill that in. All right, I like how that looks. All right, so I need to get some graphs that they can manipulate and work with here. I want them to be able to kind of drag the graph to one or the other side. Now remember that the graphs are going to be something I want them to manipulate. So I'm not going to put those in quite yet. But I do want to also put some directions. So I'm going to put another one of these little sticky note tab looking things. I'm going to insert another one of those right down here. And it's just going to give them directions about what I want them to do down here. So down here, what I'm asking them to do, make my font a little smaller, drag each graph to the correct column. All right, I've got to get this inside here. I need to move my table over a little bit. There we go. I want to make sure this tag, this little tab, is completely on the page and not hanging over the side, so that when I copy the file so I can create the background, I want that to be completely on there. Otherwise, it won't show up. So make that a little bigger. There we go. All right, that looks good. I'm going to go ahead and download that. So we're going to go to File, Download, PNG. It's going to download. I think it goes on to my downloads folder, which is fine. Then I'm going to add a blank slide here, and I'm going to insert that image. I'm going to find it on my computer. Browse, downloads. There it is. And that's going to make that entire background just, they can't edit it. They can't move it around. They can't do anything with it. All right. I had this video on there, so now the video link isn't actionable. This isn't clickable anymore, but there's a way to resolve that. It's really easy to do. You just insert a transparent rectangle over the top. and you attach your link to that. In fact, I do that a lot of the time so they can't mess around with my text at all. So you just make it so that your border and your fill is transparent and your border is transparent. And then you just have a transparent rectangle there, and you can insert your link on that instead of inserting the link on your text. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and get my graphs, and I also need to insert my typing boxes. So I already have some graphs selected here that I want them to use. I just got these from a Google image search. So I'm going to take all those, put them on to this slide, and I'm just going to kind of drag these around on the bottom here. Some of them have kind of some funky sizing. So I want to make sure that they will fit. The nice thing is that when students are interacting with this, they can zoom in. So if a student's like, oh, I can't really tell, they can just go right here, zoom in, and then they can see much better. And then they're going to drag those to the correct locations. So I have 2 continuous and 2 discrete there in my examples. But I don't want it to be already correct, so I'm going to leave them like that. All right. The other thing I need to do there is I need to put my text boxes in so they can type in what DIXROY, what does all stand for. So I'm going to insert a text box. I'm going to select the font that I want. So they would type in here, domain. Maybe I'll make it centered, and kind of want it to be a different color. It's kind of like they're writing with a pen or something. So I'm going to select that text box, and I'm going to copy and paste it, and I'm just going to put it in every single one of these spots. And sometimes what I like to do is I write the word type so they know, oh, I'm supposed to type something here. So you're just going to copy and paste that and then drag it over into each section. And then when your student's done watching their video and they're ready, they can just go right to that box and type in, whatever it might be. It could be something from the video. It could be, what do you already know about this topic? It could be anything you want there, but they can come right here and write X coordinates. All right. All right, that's how I created my interactive video notes, and I hope this was helpful for you. Thanks for watching.